I'm Travis Keys,
I'm David J. Murphy.
and let's jump right into our first story. So
Let's do
I
it.
saw the disaster meme girl, and I love a good meme. The photo sold for $500,000 as an NFT. That's $500,000. Have you heard about this?
Oh my goodness, it's crazy. It's crazy what these things are going for nowadays. I mean, yeah, it makes me wish, I had this kind of viral photo because the NFT market is just blowing up. Kind of like this
Yeah.
this photo. I want to put the photo of the girl in front of the NFT market blowing up because it would be perfect.
That's exactly it. So Zoe Roth was 4 years old back in 2005 when she was captured in front of a burning house, and now that became a meme, and it went all over the internet. And now with NFTs, this has sold for a ridiculous amount, and every time it gets used or whatever, that person's still going to make money off this NFT. Is
Yeah.
that she's called Disaster Girl, and when there's something wild going on in the background, they put her in the foreground. From the Titanic to all kinds of stuff. It's unbelievable, and it makes me kind of like, man, am I still too late to come up with my own NFT? Like I got to
No.
jump in there and do something, and so it kind of amused me to see this, and now I'm going to look further into NFTs because I think I need to get one up or two up, and at least test the waters before it. Yeah, I went, it's too late.
Yeah, the more and more I read about NFTs, the more and more I think like I need to see if there's, I mean, I'm a nobody, right? Nobody's going to buy my stuff for any value, but throwing your stuff up there. And, I first heard about this, I was like, oh man, I bet they had to like give up the copyright, like they were selling the photo, but they're not. That's a great
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
NFT, you're keeping the copyright,
Yeah.
and the owner will continue to get a 10% cut of the sale of the NFT in perpetuity. So I'm like, what? There's like no downside to using, just selling your photos on NFT. So yeah, and there's this new app. I don't know the name of it, but you just go out there and Google it. But there's like some iPhone app that allows you to make NFTs for free. So
Is that
typically,
right?
when you want to do an NFT, you have to have gas money, or so to speak, where it's like, and it can vary based on the website you're going to, but essentially, it's like $100 you pay to create the NFT, and so
Right.
this
Right.
this new app essentially eliminates that. So there's really no barrier to trying it out. So Travis, give it a shot. Let us know how
I'm
it
gonna, I'm
turns
gonna
out.
look for that app, and hopefully we can report in the future, and I'll tell you what happens with my NFTs.
Indeed. And if you can't sell your stuff on NFTs, you can put it on Unsplash for free and have your photos be out there for free.
Upsplash, right?
Unsplash.
It's Unsplash. Okay, because there's
Unsplash.
Upsplash and now there's Unsplash. So confusing. I can't keep up with it all.
No, it's Unsplash. Yeah. I'm double
Wow.
checking. I mean, I didn't make that
Wow.
mistake,
I think there's
thankfully.
an Upsplash too,
Is
because
there?
yeah, and I didn't hear very good things about Upsplash, so I'm gonna have to look into Unsplash, which is maybe the anti-Upsplash.
I know, right? Well, if you do have your stuff on Unsplash, Travis, it'll now go to Getty, or Getty will somehow participate in making it because they bought the company. And I think we talked about this in a prior episode, but if we hadn't, the Petapixel story that I found was interesting because it kind of examined why would Getty buy this website that gives away photos for free. And it really kind of goes to the core of what Getty is trying to do, which is essentially get the buyers, get the people who are actually going to pay for photos and entice them to their website with the free photos. And what Unsplash did so well and what made it so popular was essentially the way their algorithm could use that magical sauce to find the photo you were actually looking for. And so Getty's going to try and use that because Getty is more, I guess their algorithm isn't as fancy. And so they're basically buying Unsplash for the technology. That's kind of what the story sort of zeroed in on. What do you think of this story? Do you think
Well, in my head, I think I was wrong. Yeah, when I was saying Upsplash, it is Unsplash that I was thinking of. And there's been, I think, a lot of uh, not a lot the people in the industry have not been really happy with Unsplash because basically it's
no,
incentivizing people to give away their work and undervalue
right?
the photo, which Getty has sort of done with the stock market as well, and the stock photo market, and I just all around it's devaluating what we do as professionals, and I'm not really a fan of it all. No, not at all.
Yeah. No, I think if you're not in our world, right, where you're the content creator, this is Unsplash and whatnot. All these other free sites are godsends, right? Because you get, free or, very cheap imagery, but for those of us who are actually creating the content, no, this has been the bane of our existence. And, I get it all the time too. Like I recently completed a project, or I supplied my video that I created for a project that someone else was doing. And the first thing they were like coming out with the gate was, can we have this content for free?
Yeah.
And I said point blank, no, I'm fundamentally against giving away my content for free. There has to be an exchange of money, even if it's small. There has to be the process where I'm going to create a contract and we're going to agree to terms and money is exchanged at the very minimum.
I remember looking into that article, and people like, oh, it seems like a very strange merging of, like, no, it's not strange at all. It's Getty once again, taking all the profits for themselves.
Yeah. Some of these image houses are a little bit unscrupulous. Like, are you familiar with Alamy?
No, not at all.
It's another kind of Getty similar image house, that's licensed images. And they're kind of infamous within the military community, the military photo community, because they take photos that are shared via Divids Hub, which is the military's network, which anyone can go on and download military imagery at high resolution.
Right.
So they download the imagery that military photographers have shot, which of course are all open source and free, copyright free. Go ahead and use them. It's paid for by the government. They take these photos, they put them on their service, they watermark all the photos. And then, for the rubes who aren't savvy enough to go outside the service to look for this imagery, they're paying essentially for free imagery. So,
yeah. Well, it seems a little,
upset.
Once again, a little nefarious and whatever. But, there are other people out there like the Royal Photographic Society that has launched Photography for Everyone initiative. And what's kind of great about them is I think they are one of the oldest, founded in, I think, 1853, one of the oldest photographic societies in the world. And they're trying to kind of, do the right thing and bring photography to everyone. And it's a membership-based community with thousands of people that engage in photography and believe that in the importance of artistic, scientific, expressive medium, and really kind of just want to bring photography to all. I think it's a great thing. I'm a chairman of American Photographic Artists here in New York, and we're basically a membership group as well, similar to this. That what we do is we take professionals and give them the tools and advocate for them. Whether it be for copyright, or the Case Acts, or bring tools to the trade, bring webinars and education and networking. So I think anything that makes us stronger and actually just helps the arts, because obviously, look at what we just talked about, Upsplash and Instagram and Facebook, and how many images are put up a day. People love images. So, the more that we bring that to the people, and the more that we make that accessible, and the education, I love it.
Yeah, no, I mean, even with the advent and growth of video, right, and it being the primary medium which most people probably engage with, there still will always be a need and desire for high quality photography. And I think these organizations do a great job in getting people out of the mindset of thinking that this camera, this phone is their only camera, right? That there are, bigger and greater uses for the photographic medium outside of what, you can get out of a cell phone, and kind of, opening people up to that world, right, of the larger photographic world, and then also helping propagate them and push them up. And I thought what was neat about the Royal Photographic Society, what they're doing here is, they have sort of causes, right, that they push, what is like inclusion, environmental, social responsibility, sustainability and whatnot. Does your organization, kind of push any sort of, not agenda, but, kind of like, beyond obviously making a space for professionals? Is there any sort of drive like, hey, here we want to focus on a specific topic, or here's a challenge, a photo challenge?
Well, there's certainly, lots of things. We're a national organization with local chapters and stuff like that. But on the national level, we're very, it's all about protecting the photographer and fighting and lobbying for, obviously photographer rights, getting paid, fair work. The copyright is huge, and Case Act was another big one that we've just been fighting on for a long time. So there's always issues that we advocate for on behalf of the members. In terms of the local chapters, we always kind of figure out what our members need, and whether, it's like in times of a pandemic, and suddenly, we need to figure out how we work on a set with OSHA compliancy, and deal with that. It's we're always figuring out new ways to bring new information and give the best tools to make photographers the most successful they can be. So yeah, it's very important for us to always reach out and figure out what to do.
That's cool. Yeah. Do you guys do any contests or any showings, or back in the
Oh,
day when
absolutely.
people
We
could
have
actually go
national
out?
contests. We have national contests that people that aren't even members can, send in photographs, and there's all kinds of big prizes from winning Canon cameras. Sometimes this, a bunch of Sony cameras. There's always different big prizes, and get your photos in front of some amazing judges, and all kinds of different prizes in that respect. There's also local photo prizes that for LA it runs one. New York is about to kick off one. So there's a bunch of that. We do everything from portfolio reviews with people in the industry, professionals that would actually hire photographers and get your work or get you on a shoot. So there's always something that and then we do webinars all the time, from teaching people how to do infrared photography to how to do stuff in Lightroom or Photoshop or use new equipment. So we're always doing new and different stuff.
Nice. And I bet a photo that would have won any competition it was entered in is a photo by NASA astronaut Michael Collins, recently deceased, passed away at the age of 90. Collins was well known for a photo he took of the lunar module containing both Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong in front of the Earth, capturing all of humanity, or as I like to consider it, the world's largest group photo. I mean, but with like any group photo, it doesn't have the photographer in it, right? Like I shoot group photos for my unit.
And that's pretty momentous. Like I would have to be taking a selfie on the moon or something to show I was there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
When the first like moon selfie. I mean, come on, there's got to be the first moon selfie.
Oh, indeed.
But I mean, you know what? His legacy is now immortal in terms of capturing that moment, and his name will be synonymous with that image. And it's such an iconic image that for all of us,
sad loss.
Missed. But he made it to 90, which is that's he did not get cut short, and he left a legacy. So I'd say he will be missed, but wow, he left behind a good legacy.
Yeah, I'd be lucky if I make it that far. I was thinking about this. It's like there's a lot of what we do as photographers. It's also a lot of the actual craft is just pushing a button, right? It's like technical in nature, but a lot of it is access. So being an astronaut, you wouldn't have had this shot or this opportunity unless you were an astronaut on this mission in particular. So it's like, it's interesting to kind of put that into perspective, that a lot of the best shots and a lot of photography is based on the access of what you have or what you're able to get, what you're able to either get for yourself or what you're given. And so, a lot of it can be what you make of it yourself, but a lot of it too is, are you an astronaut? If you're not getting that shot, at least not yet, not till we get to space tourism, but then that's a far way off.
Yeah. Another story I saw this week is it was an interesting one to me, and it's sort of one that I had to think about, and I think I do. Is under promising and over delivering still a good practice? And I have to say, it's like I don't think I under promise. I'm very specific about what I promise, and I tend to make sure that know that what I am including, I know that I can also add a little extra in there. So when they get it, they're going to be really happy. So I guess this is still the same kind of thing. Is that a practice that you kind of adopt or look into? I mean, it was a good study that I think it was first conducted in 2014 by a UC San Diego behavioral scientist. Is it something that you kind of adopt into your thing or have thought about?
I've not really thought about it, honestly, before I saw this, this story. And I was trying to think of instances where I've had client interaction and have I done any over promising or under promising? And in all honesty, I don't promise anything. I just promise I'm going to give you what you ask for. And hopefully you're blown away by the thing, but I never sell myself short. I just, like, hey, I need I need an image, or I need a photo, I need a commercial, I need a video. And I'm like, I will give you that product. And, hopefully they're happy with what they get. But
well, that's sort of, promise. I mean, if you, I mean, it's just, the wording, so if you're in a contract and say, I will shoot your wedding, I'll be there for 2 hours, I will give you 100 photos. That's your promise. Right. That's a contract. So it's a promise. But what I tend to do is like, I know my experience is going to far exceed the contract. So when I
Right.
show up, I'm going to be on set. I will suddenly take a picture. I will instantly edit it on my phone and give them a teaser on the spot. So that wasn't in
Yeah.
a contract. That wasn't a promise. But suddenly,
Right.
right there, they can send that out in a social media, and their experience is better. So I'm over delivering already. And then when I go
Yeah.
back and finish it, and what I deliver them opposed to what I put in the contract is always a little more. So they leave like, wow, that was amazing. Not only did it do this, but he did this the other day. And I was shooting for a client, and I went over, I think, by 45 minutes. I'm like, that 45 minutes on me. We're having a great time. We're a vibe. I'm like, no, that's totally on me. So it's like over delivering and giving them an amazing experience will always bring them back. And sometimes it doesn't even come down to the photos. They're like, that was the best thing. I'm so going to hire you, and they haven't seen a photo yet. So I think if you
Right.
get in the habit of the experience and over delivering, it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think most clients are going to know what they're getting into, at least to a degree, when they hire you, or hire a person. They should see your work. They should understand the kind of work they're going to get. So I think making sure you're meeting that expectation, that's what this article kind of alluded to, is that
Yeah.
consistency is
Oh
more
yeah.
important than over promising or over
Yeah.
delivering, or what
Absolutely.
that
You don't
means.
want to say, you don't want to, make promises you can't keep. It's like, oh no, I'll do this
Right.
and we'll do this in this time frame. I'm going to
Absolutely.
say maybe we'll get 1 or 2 out of this 1 hour or two, and
Mhm.
we give them reasonable expectations. And it's the most important thing is to really just kind of give them that amazing experience, I think. And
Yeah.
it's one thing I love to do.
Yeah, usually just on my own personal pride, I'm going to exceed your expectations regardless, right? Like maybe you paid for less service, but I'm going to probably go above and beyond because that's just how I am. I want to do the best possible product and do the best possible job I can on the product, no matter what. So,
Unless
you know,
you're just a total rude, whatever, then you're getting exactly what you're saying, and I never talk
yeah.
to you again.
Then I'm doing the bare minimum. Anyways, but one app that does not do the bare minimum, if you're downloading onto your phone, is called What 3 Words. And I just learned about this today, and it's a kind of neat little app. At first I read about it, I was like, what's the point of this? Like, who
Yeah.
cares? Why would anyone use this? But what it does is essentially it breaks the map of the world into 3 meter by 3 meter squares,
Mhm.
and then it applies a random 3 different words like pie, moon, sand, right? And that three series of words will be applied to a grid coordinate essentially on a map. And I thought to myself, why would anyone use this? Why is this relevant and all? And I thought to myself, well, what if you have to tell a client to come to a specific location at a address, like on the beach, right?
Right.
And it's like I've you have to wait for them to be at the spot and then take them to the location. But if you could tell them pinpoint where to go without having to give them like grid coordinates or something more complicated, then I could see the value of this. What about you? Do you think there's any value to this?
I have no clue what this is all about still. I mean, it just sounds ridiculous to me. It's like, Victor egging dabbling is one of the like current location of where I am. I'm like,
I know,
as,
right?
as far as I know, on my phone, I can actually hit, a thing that'll send someone where I am on the map, and all they have to do is bring that up, and it'll bring them
Yeah.
exactly to where I am. So it's like, it's
Yeah.
not coordinated. It's like, oh, here's the phone. I'm walking. Okay, this is where they ping. Oh, hey, there you are. So
Yeah.
I mean, at first I was hoping there'd be more to it. Like, it's like, it'd be fun if it was for like, if it was more of a photographer app, and it was like, sunset. So I know there's a great sunset there.
Right.
Statue, and earth color or something. It was, if there was something like
Sure.
3 words that actually pertain to the spot, that really made it like,
Yeah.
oh wow, like it made me want to kind of search through the like names more, like, oh well, the creative names, and like, oh wow, look at what's there. It's like horses,
Right.
wild horses, or it's like I'd be more interested in that. But just a totally random 3 thing, it's like, no, I got my Google Maps, and I got yeah. I can pin things on Google Maps. I can send them to people. It's like, yeah, this one ain't working for me.
Right.
I'm gonna have to pass, as they say on Shark.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same, like, why would I not use just Google Maps and share my location with whoever is looking
Yeah.
for me, right? I mean, you can pin any location on Earth, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it's you don't want to share your personal location, right? Maybe like you're worried about your specific personal privacy, I guess. Maybe it'd be easier to kind of put those into an instructions, like if you're saying you want to meet at a specific location, you're not there yet, right? You
Yeah.
can tell someone to go to this pinpoint location. I don't know. I think, that would come down to like, I'm going to meet you at the entrance of somewhere and then we're going to walk to the location. But I don't know. I have to play with it myself and see if it had any practical purpose to me. But I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get your point. So anyways, I think that's going to bring it to this week's episode.
Yeah,
and the
that's
end of the
that's
stories.
the hottest topics of the week.
Indeed. If you want to check out more what we're talking about, go to aroundthelens.com. You can find links to all the stories we talked about there. You can find this episode on your podcatcher of choice, as well as our YouTube channel and all the other platforms. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, find us on social media. We got a Facebook page, we got Twitter, we got all that stuff. We'd be happy to hear your thoughts on any of the stories we talked about today, and let us know if we're right or wrong, or if there's a story we missed that we should cover. All right.
And
anything else from you, Travis, before we sign out?
I think that's a good one. I can't wait to see what we're going to come up with next week, what the new stories will be that we're going to discuss. So I'm Travis Keys, and
I'm David J. Murphy.
That's In a Flash.
We're bouncing.